all these utility projects and stuff in great depth, to the detail sometimes, ain't Caleb, at the utility meeting, but, sometimes that don't trickle back to you all. So I wanted to update you on some projects. The Town Hill project is complete to about 95%. There is a PRV, pressure reducing valve, over on Green Lawn Cemetery Road that's gotta be replaced. And it's been, 2 or 3 little hiccups with getting parts in, then finally getting parts in, having to make a shift and relocate it to where it's gonna be in the new fashion. And then got all that worked out, and the contractor crew's on vacation for a week. So, but next week, we should be able to complete that PRV project as soon as they get back from vacation. And then we like some, patching some asphalt up on top of the hill, which, our rollers in the garage getting repaired. And the heat index has been 100 plus. It's not the best day in the world. The last week or two, it's not been the best time in the world for guys to be blacktopping if you don't have to. So we're hoping as soon as that roller gets back and the break just a little bit to where it's maybe back in the mid-80s instead of mid-90s, it's a whole lot different. That's on the Town Hill project, so we're really, really close. Everything else working fine there. That little bit of blacktop needs to be done in that PRV. D-Long Branch went to bid. You all reviewed the bid and approved the bid. Contractor accepted the bid. We put out notice to proceed. So they are in the process of proceeding. I believe, do you remember that date, Caleb? I think they were starting maybe 20 something of this month. But anyway, yeah, if you got it, start on D-Long Branch, mid-July, I believe, it might be 20 something. So everything's rolling there except for just getting the dirt, getting the pipe in the ground. And we should have, I believe it's about 17 new customers with city water that don't have a permit. So that's a great project. We had this maybe a little bit too much detail, but as part of the Town Hill project, we end up with a pump, a backwash pump at the water plant go down, which it's about 22 years old, never been replaced in 22 years. The problem is a major replacement to replace it. It's in the basement, deep in the well in the basement, and so it's going to be quite a project to get that out and get it changed. So we did a change order in the Town Hill project. We advertised for bids, which is in the newspaper last week, and bids will be open this coming Thursday, day after tomorrow here. I believe it's 1 p.m. So hopefully we'll get some good bids on that. Next utility board would search through those bids, make a recommendation. You all would approve it at the next monthly meeting, and we can get that project well underway. It's not a crisis. It's like you can backwash manually, or you can backwash for the pump, and they're doing it manually till there's a backup measure for it. So it's not any kind of crisis or anything like that. On the utility projects, that's the biggest, with the exception of we're still working through some property acquisition issues at around the sewer plant project and getting the funding sources rolling. So that should be coming along. We hope in the next 60 days to see some movement on that. As far as old business, we did have the motion by Mr. McClanahan. Second by Mr. Chapins. Any questions on the meeting? All right, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Under new business, I would introduce to you, because she couldn't come last month, our new city clerk, Bridget James. She started on Monday, so she's just completing. She actually worked 3 days last week because of the holiday, so she's knee deep trying to learn. And I told her the other day, I wish you could learn all this in a week, but you just can't. It's going to take some time. Plus, we haven't trained anybody here in 15 years, so it's not like there's a big training, program in place. But we're working toward it, and she's gonna actually go to school next week. She'll be gone all week next week to training for new clerks in Lexington. So I'm sure she's excited about that. With that, I would like to entertain a motion that we remove Catherine Compton. Currently, we have 3 signatures on bank accounts, Kathy, myself, and Rita. And that, we require 2, so by having 3, that always kind of, if I'm here, I sign them. If I'm not, I know what's going on and they sign them for me. I would like to remove Kathy from the bank accounts, 6 bank accounts, and place Bridget on those bank accounts, and the bank requires it be in the minutes and voted on by the council that we add her to the bank.
I make that motion.
Motion by Keith and second by Mr. Rowe that we add Bridget to the bank account and remove Kathy as quick as he normally does. So, but I still went ahead and put them on here, laid them on their desk tonight. We can, if you all can glance at it and say, yes, I'm good with what we're doing, then we'd send it over to Bud. He would make changes. It'd come back next month for first reading, and then August, or actually September for second reading, and then go in the paper for approval. So if you're not, it's not a big rush. We can move it on until the next month. It's not a big deal. But with the holiday weekend, I couldn't get it any quicker than I just got the tourism one today. So what the tourism ordinance amendment, proposed amendment is, and I put it on your, it's a joint ordinance between the city and the county that was put in place many years ago. I don't know how old it is. Well, 2000, if you look at the top. So in 2000, so it's been 24 years, the city and the county has had a joint tourism commission, worked pretty well. I attend some, not near all. Keith is certain, Keith was actually their chairman for a few years. So we've had people on it. We do have a representative that specifically represents the city on that board, and that's Susie. She goes by that name, but
Compton.
Susie.
Compton.
Huh?
Chambers.
Susie Chambers.
Yeah, Susie. She's been ours for the city for several years, ever since I've been married. But the changes that they're wanting to make to this hasn't been updated in years. The changes they're wanting to make, and like I said, if you want to take this home and read it, and we want to postpone it, I don't have a problem with that at all. They're not in that big a hurry. But basically, the ordinance said that we would put a person, if you look at section 3 or A and B, it says we would put a person from the restaurant group, what do they call it? Wait, Keith, restaurant,
Okay.
kind of like Chamber of Commerce, but bigger cities will have just restaurants as an organization. And the ordinance called to put somebody from that organization on. Well, we don't have,
We do not have a restaurant association.
Association, there's my word. We don't have one, so what this proposal says is that if we have a person from that group to represent restaurants on this board, that we would use them, and that if we didn't, myself, the mayor, and the county judge could appoint a person in that place to fill that gap. Just could be anyone. It didn't have to be a restaurant association member. It was restaurant association, hotel motel association, which we don't have. And it just basically says though, in this ordinance, that all appointments to the board would be approved both by the city and the county. And I don't think in the past it had been quite that way.
Oh, it was originally just Lawrence County Tourism Commission, and we have tried to, basically include the city. You started coming, and we were actually getting on board. We had a lot of stuff accomplished back in those days, and it should have said this then, but no one ever brought it up. We didn't address it, and I'm glad that you're doing it because it needs to be done.
Yeah. It also kind of changes the name from Lawrence County Tourism to Louisa Lawrence County Tourism, because it's a joint agency between the city and the county, so it adds our name to it. It also says, which they've been doing that anyway, because their new logo has Louisa on it, actually. But this officially changes the name. Also says that their budget would be approved annually, or at least submitted to the city and the county, and the fiscal court and you people, the city council would at least review their budget and send it back to them. That's really the only changes in it, was the name to add Louisa. We would review the budget, which I don't think it used to say that, Keith. I think it just said the county before. And then that if we don't have somebody in the restaurant association or hotel association, that the mayor and the judge can appoint anybody to fill those positions, because we gotta have people. If you don't, we're not gonna approve it tonight, but I'm gonna send it over to Bud for him to put it in our format and get it ready to vote on next month. If y'all have any recommendations or changes or questions, we can do that tonight, and then Bud can work on it. Did it? Anybody have any questions? Okay, if you're good with it, if we don't require a vote, we'll just send it over to Bud. He'll bring it back next month till today, by email this morning. Been asking for it for quite a while, but here's the only thing that we have to decide right now. If you was here last month at my meeting for the infomercial on campus, it showed you the options. And basically, to run down those quickly, our options is to approve medical now this is medical only, to be approved for dispensaries and grow centers and all those 5 businesses that was associated with this industry, that we allow it in the city limits, or we can pass an ordinance to prohibit it out of the city limits, or we could put it on the ballot for the citizens to decide and then use their decision. So here's the time kicker. If you want it on the ballot for the citizens to vote, it would have to be passed by you. You all would have to express that this month, and you would have to get that information to Chris Joe by around the 1st of August, so it could be on the ballot in November of this year. There is no election next year. So if we miss this August 4th deadline, then going on the ballot's not gonna be an option, because we missed it this year and there'll be no election next year. So by then, the state law will supersede and go ahead and allow it in.
Or if you do nothing, then they get to do it anyway. Is that what you said at that last meeting?
Exactly, and you have less, you don't
less
have
power.
any control or power, and no right for revenue if you do nothing. So, finally this morning, League of Cities did send me a simple little, I laid it on your old desk, it's very simple, a simple little ordinance that says the city agrees with the state that we will allow what the state passed in our city, okay? If you all are good with the choices, 1, probably entertaining the idea of an ordinance to allow it, or 2, entertain an ordinance to disallow it, then we don't have to do it this month. I can send this over to Bud, he can work on it, get it in our format, and it will be first reading next month. If you think you wanna put it on the ballot, that's what would have to be done tonight, or by the end of the month. We'd have to have another meeting, Talking to me, it's 100% up to you all, okay? I mean, if it's tie vote, I'll break the tie, but it's 100% up to you all. But talking to my neighbors across the state, there'll be 4 dispensaries per region, as I showed you last month. I feel like that upwards of 95% of the counties and cities are going to go ahead and accept what the state. I haven't heard of one. Now, there probably are some, but the ones I've talked to have been 100%. They're going to accept it. So that's just a bit.
And once you accept, you only get 1, right? And that the way it read, like the chances would be to get 1.
The most you can
No,
Yeah,
the most.
the most you can get.
Might
with
get
one.
none.
Right,
There's just 4
There-
per region.
but you can only get one if you got one.
Yeah. There's 4 per region. In the region we're gonna be in, there'll be 4. And you might get none, but it says, so you say, well, they might all go to Pike County. No, it says there can only be 1 per county, except for Lexington and Louisville. So, out of our region, you got the chance out of 4 to have one. Now, I will say this, I can't disclose, details, but I had conversation with, realtors with some property that's for sale in the city, and someone has made interest in it. Pending they get a license to grow, they want that land, they're already looking at me, they've already talked about, asked zoning questions, they've already asked questions, so. Now, that don't mean they will, cause it don't mean they'll get a license, they're just saying if they did get a license, they wanna locate here. Keith, I'm sorry, I know you missed last meeting, but
Yeah.
have you had time to look into any of it?
No, I haven't done marijuana in many years.
Talking about somebody be drugs and research.
And if you're gonna open a place, you should have a drive-through, you know.
That was prohibited, I believe.
I'd like to see the people vote on it.
They are, you remember the state stipulations I talked about last month? They will be in place. If you let the state do it, then, their stipulations will be in place. If you do it, you could make those stipulations more strict than the state, but not less. And that was 1,000 feet of school, 1,000 feet of any public or private school cannot locate a dispensary.
Only thing with the people voting, they may not understand what we all watched. They're gonna hear marijuana, you know, like, as, like a joke about that's what, to me, I mean, that's just,
I have a question too, if it's medicinal purposes
Yeah.
only,
Yeah.
what is the difference in that being near the schools, than the drugstores being close to the schools?
We do, only thing I can tell you is the state legislators passed a law that said they can't be within 1,000 feet.
But how are we gonna make people understand this
We
is
can't
medicinal?
change it.
I know, that's what I'm saying, that's where people are gonna get, the confusion's gonna start, they're gonna say, well, listen, if it's medicinal purposes, you know, they must not be looking at it like that, cause our drugstore that's got pain medicine is close to the school, so why is this gonna be allowed? That's where people are gonna get the wrong idea about it, that's where you're gonna have trouble on the ballot. People are gonna be, it's gonna be shaded.
For medicinal purpose, why can't the drugstores go ahead and sell it, you don't have to worry about voting now.
Right.
really?
How are the drugstore, yeah, how's that
the
gonna,
state issue.
that's gonna be a mental.
I just think they're all gonna see marijuana and not understand the stipulations you showed are very strict.
Yeah, but let one
This
of,
is not, I mean,
Yeah,
let one of them
very-
have
very
cancer.
strict, and they're gonna think, oh, this is, we're gonna have some big free-for-all here.
Yeah, let one of them have cancer, see how, and their family, see how that would help them.
But it will generate money for us that we just, it sounds like.
I still think it'll pass on the ballot.
I think, well, I would hope so. If somebody had firsthand seen someone with cancer and seen how that eases their pain,
If the wet drive passed this bad.
Either one of you three have questions
Think so.
about any more questions? I know Keith missed.
I hope,
No.
I mean, I'm just afraid, I
So
think
you-
they can make the decision.
Basically, it could be voted down if it's put on the ballot, and then what do you do at that point, if the state is putting it out there?
Well, if you vote no, if we voted no,
Yeah.
or if we put it on the ballot, they vote no,
Yeah.
it's just no.
It's just
It's
no.
not legal in the city at all.
Okay.
So it can't be none and there can't be no. But here's the thing. All right, somebody make something.
Is it a motion if we just wait to make this an ordinance?
Yeah.
If that's a motion?
No, I mean, if you just wanna wait, we don't need to do nothing but have Bud to fix the ordinance and vote on the ordinance next month.
That's what I'm for.
So we're gonna end up agreeing some one way or the other. Or let's do it this way, it make more sense to say. Yeah, I guess that'd be fine. All right, have a motion by Joey, or I think Caleb, you both said.
I'll second
Whichever one.
Whichever's on.
Motion by Caleb, second by Joey, that we approve an ordinance allowing it, or at least entertain that ordinance next month, once Bud has the time to approve it. And then if this motion passes, that's that pretty much. If it fails, then we can vote on the other. Okay, so any more questions? Everybody understand that? Have a motion and a second that we go forth with the ordinance to allow it in the city limits. And any more questions? Call for a vote. Bridget, you're new. You gotta call their names and record their votes. And what you do, this month, Kathy had a state district court all the time. So, since Mr. Newsom has come on board as the code enforcement officer, we're getting more done, we're getting more in line with the way the state statutes allows us to do work under the code enforcement board. Roadmap, well, the code enforcement board met last month right after our meeting. I left here and went there. And, they are now starting to meet regularly, and they would like to change the dates of the meeting, from what it is now to the second Thursday on even months at 7 p.m. here at City Hall. And I can't remember what theirs says now, Teddy. Oh, it don't say. So we will have to change the ordinance to say regular code enforcement board meetings will be the second Thursday of every even month at 7 p.m. at City Hall. Then they can call special meetings as they need it. But those regular meetings will be posted everywhere that everybody knows when they are. Also so, because it's an ordinance, again, Bud couldn't be here, I'll have to get Bud to rewrite this. But I'm asking you all tonight to agree to these changes, and then Bud can rewrite it and bring it back here for you to vote on next month. They also would like to up the penalties from, Teddy, would you explain it real quick?
Yeah, so basically with your penalties, it's.
And increase the penalties, first offense 25 to 50, second offense 50 to 75, third offense 75 to 120.
Yeah, the meeting though was the second Wednesday, or second Thursday.
Okay, and they're gonna move it to the second Thursday. It's probably church night.
What is it now?
They're gonna move it to the,
No, move it to second Wednesday.
oh, they want it on the second.